Hello everyone, it is Monday and I believe I'm at the start of week 15 today. I am not feeling good if I'm being honest. What's up? I should just hear you want cuddles, don't you? You want back scratches? I'm out with the dogs. I'm on the only group walk of the day today, thankfully. I've got a pounding headache. My head is killing me. My eyes are heavy, I'm drowsy, I'm lightheaded. I'm just feeling groggy today, like really groggy. So sleepy. So freaking sleepy. I've already had a power nap. My eyes were falling asleep at around 10 and I needed to leave at 10, so I thought, you know what, I'll get my head down for half an hour and everything will be okay. Set an alarm for half an hour on my phone and slept through that alarm. Slept through a second alarm. Finally woke up at 10 to 11, nearly an hour late, but thankfully because I've only got 4 dogs on today, I was able to squish everyone together, so it's not too bad. Is it? Hey? It's not too bad. The rest are all over there. So you can find the treat. Yeah, I've already had an hour power nap and it doesn't feel like it. Doesn't feel like it at all. I'm meant to be going paddleboarding tonight and getting some fresh air with the dogs, doing my hours group walk, and then I'm going to go home. I'm going to get a snack and then go straight to sleep. Get another power nap in, see how I feel. Hopefully wake up in time to go paddleboarding. We'll see. Paddleboarding's not till 6, so I've got plenty of time to get a nap in. I'm so drowsy today. I'm so freaking drowsy today. It is now, I don't even know, week 15, day 1. I am exhausted. The last 2 days have been so hard. I've been so tired. So tired. It's like all the fatigue that I should have experienced in the first trimester has just come along and hit me like a truck. All in one go. Even when I've had colitis flare-ups and experienced iron deficiency, this is worse than the iron deficiency I've had in the past. There's no energy. There's no energy. The body just wants sleep. The body just wants sleep. I'm so tired. I managed to go to work yesterday. Difficultly. I nearly fell asleep at the wheel on at least one occasion. And I woke up this morning. I woke up more tired than when I went to bed. Even though I actually got like a pretty decent night's sleep last night, I did wake up twice to go to the toilet. But I had a pretty decent night's sleep last night. I woke up more tired than what I went to bed. So tired. I've actually had to cancel work today because I fell asleep while eating my breakfast. And then when I woke up, I finished my breakfast and I was still tired. So I went down, when I was meant to be leaving for work, I went down and had a quick, what I thought was going to be a 20-minute nap. It ended up being nearly half an hour or more. And I was still tired. I was still tired when I woke up. I tried to fight through it. I was quite literally a walking zombie. I went into the kitchen to get some wipes for my glasses because he had a bit of dust and dirt on him. And Jason actually looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" Because I must have looked like a walking zombie. I was barely functioning. And then I said to him, I'm this close from cancelling my walks because I am so scared that I'm going to fall asleep at the wheel. And then I went to put my shoes on to leave for work because I was already 45 minutes late by this point. I went to put my shoes on and I fell asleep on the stairs while putting my shoes on. I decided to be smart about it and deem myself unfit to drive right now because I was genuinely, if I nearly fell asleep at the wheel yesterday, and today I am 10 times more exhausted than I was yesterday, and I was falling asleep while putting shoes on or while eating my breakfast, I was genuinely scared that I was going to fall asleep at the wheel today. So for my own safety, as well as the dog's safety, as well as baby's safety, I decided to have another day off work. I've had a day off work almost every single week now because of something, be it appointments, be it something pregnancy related that's made me not fit for work, or be it colitis related. Like, regardless what it is, I've had a day off work nearly every single week for the last 2 months, and it's driving me insane because I really can't afford it. I really can't afford all this time off work. I've got no choice. Health comes first. Health and baby comes first. I've been in bed. I think I came to bed eventually about 11 o'clock in the morning. Or 11 a.m. Put my head down. Fell asleep till about 12:40. And then my phone started ringing because I had a physiotherapy appointment regarding my overactive bladder and my Kegel exercises, and I explained it's been a stressful month, so I haven't necessarily been able to do as many exercises as I have. I did notice the difference between when I was doing the Kegel exercise and when I stopped doing the Kegel exercises, so she said it's good I've noticed that difference, and she's reinforced that I really need to do the Kegel exercises now that things are starting to get back to normal. Or if there's anything normal about pregnancy. I was falling asleep. I was struggling to stay awake on the phone call. She did invite me to some antenatal workshops. However, the antenatal workshops are on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't get to them. I'm self-employed and I don't earn enough. I don't earn a lot as it is. And I physically cannot take Wednesdays off regularly to attend these antenatal appointments. It's just not physically possible. So she said, it's fine. It's an open invitation. If you want to come along, just give us a ring and we'll book you in. And I was like, I do want to come along. I really want to come along. I don't have the time. I don't have the time and I can't afford to take the time off work, which is so annoying because if I was in a normal job right now, I could demand time off. I could literally have time off and they would not be able to stop me to go to these appointments. But because I'm self-employed, I don't have that luxury. A lot of people think when you're self-employed, you have like freedom, you have flexibility. That's not the case. When you're self-employed, but you're still barely earning, or you're only just earning enough to pay your bills and have a little bit left over, especially when you're in the middle of buying a house and then have to get all the baby stuff on top. There's not a lot of much spare cash left, and when you're having to have to take so much time off as it is, and your bank balance is just dropping and dropping and dropping, it's not easy. You don't have that luxury or that flexibility that people think you have. Anyway, I'm falling asleep again, so if I wake up later, I'll catch up with you later because I need to finish my crochet project today, or I want to finish my crochet project today. I'll hopefully see you in a few hours if I wake up. So we are on week 15, day 2. Baby is apparently the size of an avocado. Like folic acid, calcium is a critical nutrient for bone and teeth during health pregnancy. Most women should have at least 1,000 milligrams of calcium a day from dairy products, broccoli, dark leafy greens, or food and supplements with added calcium. Good to know. Not that I can actually get anything down me today. I say that, it's only 8:30 in the morning and I've got my breakfast right here, my usual Huel breakfast that gives me all the necessary nutrients and stuff. It works for me and it seems to be helping, so I'm not complaining. However, before I've even started eating, I've been sat waiting for my food to soak because it does take a couple of minutes to soak in. I suddenly got the strongest urge to vomit. Like my throat started burning and I just, even though there was nothing on my stomach, my body just went, you need to vomit and you need to vomit now. I have just raced to the toilet at high speed and spent about 10 to 15 minutes just vomiting any tiny bit of bile on my stomach. Oh, that was not fun. That was not fun. My throat is burning after that. My throat is really burning after that. So I'm just having a minute to calm down. And it's really weird. It's like, I told Jason about it and he said, what the heck is going on with you? You've had a really easy first trimester and then these last 3 days, it's like you're having a first trimester all over again with all the symptoms included. I need to talk to my midwife about that. I don't know for certain, but I've potentially got pregnancy rhinitis or something like that. I can't remember the name for it, but it's where your mucus or your sinuses block up and the mucus just trickles down your throat and builds up as phlegm on your chest, which I actually do have sinus issues because half of my nose is collapsed in, so it doesn't exactly drain properly and blocks extremely easily. And I seem to be having the opposite effect of everyone. Everyone was saying the first trimester is the worst, it's horrible, it's awful. The third trimester apparently is 10 times worse. And I was sat here going, actually, I had a pretty easy first trimester. I had a couple of bad days, I had a few bad issues. The nausea was annoying, but other than that, it was fine. And then this second trimester has been hell. The second trimester is when you're meant to get all your energy back, you're meant to start feeling better, or the symptoms are meant to start going away. And I've had the opposite. I've had 3 days of non-stop symptoms. I've had sheer fatigue on Monday, unbelievable exhaustion and fatigue yesterday. I was asleep till 3 p.m. Not even kidding. I woke up, and I only woke up because I was hungry. I got food, I came downstairs, I spent some time with my parrots. Then I went back to sleep for an hour, and then I got back up again because I was hungry again. And then I managed to stay awake for a little bit because I didn't want to go to bed too early because I wanted to make sure I had a good night's sleep last night. And I did get a good night's sleep last night, and I'm still tired, but I'm a lot more energetic than I was yesterday. But that morning sickness just then was just... Now the challenge I've got is that my friend who picked their birds up on Saturday have had a bit of a stomach bug over the last 3 days. And her partner started with it on the Sunday with fatigue, vomiting, and something else. And she had it the next day. Well, she's had it since Monday, where she's been vomiting and all sorts. And I've just started vomiting, and it could be the pregnancy. It could be that I've caught the bug off them. I have no way of knowing. I have absolutely no way of knowing. But I'm just going to try and get through today. I do not want to cancel on my dogs again today. It was bad enough having to cancel last night, yesterday. Feels like last night, the amount I slept. So I'm going to go out and go to work today after I finish my breakfast, get my parrots up, then go out to work and see what the day brings me. So it is week 15, day 3. And I've got a fun day today. I've actually got my second midwife appointment today. This is going to be an interesting conversation because I actually have to raise with them the fact that they did cause me a colitis flare. And the fact that I couldn't get in touch with anyone, and that concerned me. I also don't really know what to expect during this appointment because no one's really told me what happens. I knew during my booking appointment I would have blood tests and I would have I also need to bring up that phlegm issue up. I know for my booking appointment, which was my first midwife appointment, I would have a health check, they would check my weight, and I know that I would have blood tests and I would have everything else, and they would go over my health records, and that's when they prescribed me aspirin, knowing I had colitis, which was irritating, and to be fair, also partially my fault for forgetting that. Well, I did mention that aspirin can be a colitis triggerer, and they said it's low dose aspirin, it'll be fine. There's been no confirmed cases. I am now. So either the research is wrong or they have not recorded cases of it happening. I don't know. The NHS is... I don't want to blame the NHS because it's not the NHS and the staff's fault. It's the lack of funding the government are putting into it and the amount of funding government keep taking away from it. But other than taking my weight again and doing a urine test to make sure there's no signs of preeclampsia, I don't really know what else to expect from this appointment. I have no idea what happens in the second appointment. I just know it's sort of like a catch-up for me and my midwife. This is also technically the first time I'm meeting my midwife. The first midwife I actually went to an appointment to, who was really lovely and was the one that prescribed me the aspirin. She did say to me on the day, I won't be your direct midwife. I'm just covering for your midwife while she's on maternity. And then when I mentioned about moving house, she said, okay, well, your current registered midwife isn't going to be your actual midwife when you move. We will transport you to the midwife, change you over to the midwife hub where you're moving to. Between week 8 and now, or what was approximately week 7, week 8 and now, I've had 3 midwives already. But today I actually get to meet the actual midwife who will be taking charge of my care. So at least I can say to her, I cannot go on aspirin or ibuprofen or anything similar. That's the one reason I'm going to attempt to have an unmedicated birth, because I don't know what medication may trigger my symptoms. I know what ingredients in medication can trigger my symptoms, such as, well, now aspirin, ibuprofen, and caffeine. However, as bad as it sounds, I don't trust other people to remember that information. I know it's part of their job on the NHS to actually remember that medical stuff, but I have had several family members and friends and other people that I know who have gone to hospital and they have been prescribed by a doctor or a nurse medication that they cannot take, where it clearly states on their medical record that they are allergic or had negative side effects to that medication, and then they've been prescribed that medication because the doctor or nurse failed to look. Not saying that anyone would do that intentionally, or not to say that anyone would do that on purpose, but the staff at the NHS are severely overworked. They are treated like rubbish. And half of them are walking zombies after a 14 to 16 hour shift. I wouldn't be surprised if they do accidentally make mistakes like that. Hence why I will be cross-referencing any medication I am prescribed from here on, because I don't trust people that don't know my medical history. And as several people have said to me now, I know my body better than they do. I know my symptoms better than they do. I know my triggers better than they do. Go off that information. Anyway, I'm going to finish my breakfast I always have to take a break during my breakfast now. I can eat most of it, and then I have to take about a 15-minute break just to let some of it settle before I can then finish it because of the shrinking size of my stomach. So that's going to be fun, and I will update you guys. Now, I'm not actually allowed to record in the appointment itself. There is a lot of rules about the NHS and not recording, mostly to protect the privacy of the staff, but at the same time, it's one of those, I would feel rude recording without permission and everything else. I will not be recording while I'm at the appointment, but I will update you guys when I get back. It is week 15, day 5. Oh, and it has been a week. I've obviously not vlogged much this week. I've had so much going on. Obviously being ill at the start of the week didn't help. I did. In fact, I don't think I updated you guys since my midwife appointment. I do apologise about that. The midwife appointment went fine. They took my blood pressure, or my midwife took my blood pressure. She checked for CO2 or carbon monoxide issues. Everything was fine. Everything was good. Blood pressure seems fine. Carbon monoxide seems fine. Completely normal levels. She didn't check my weight though. I was very surprised by that she didn't check my weight. I don't know why. We had a very brief chat. I mentioned about the aspirin issue and she put it on my notes that I can't have aspirin or ibuprofen or anything like that, which I'm very grateful for. I mentioned about the fact that I couldn't get in touch with anyone and she did apologise for that. She's not too sure why I wasn't able to get in touch with anyone. It could have been just the time of night and only triage was available. And she said triage was right by putting you through to the GP. The GP should have dealt with it because you're under like 50-50 consultation, like you're half under GP care and half under consultant care and half under midwife care. So the consultant is just as important for your care as we are. I'm like, right, fine, whatever. Water under the bridge, it's all over and done with now and we're all back to normal, finally. But the midwife appointment didn't last long. It was kind of irrelevant, as horrible as to say. She did ask me if I had any questions. I was like, nope, I've been far too busy to actually think about pregnancy. I didn't say that specifically, but I've been far too busy to think about pregnancy. I've not even done any particular research this last few weeks, which usually I'm watching second trimester vlogs or I'm doing something like that. I've not done anything like that this time around, or not yet anyway. That'll be something for next week. And I don't know why. I was expecting her to discuss possibly going to antenatal classes or going to do other bits and bobs or pregnancy yoga and things like that, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. It was a very, very, very quick, brief chat. I'm not gonna lie, I got a few funny vibes off the midwife. Like, some of the vibes just felt a bit fake and ingenuine. I can't think of how else to describe it. And I feel bad for saying that about my midwife because she might not be. It might just be that I was in a funny mood that day and so I was picking up on the wrong vibes. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I next get to go see her. I've also been having a bit of an issue with my Badger Notes app. For those of you that aren't in the UK, here in the UK we have when we get pregnant or when we start maternity, what am I talking about here? Wow, my brain's not working. Here in the UK, when you have care or your pregnancy care is under the NHS, you get something called a Badger Notes app, and this is how your midwife primarily communicates with you. However, the app seems to be experiencing a bit of a glitch at the moment, and I can't log in. I physically cannot log in. It's asks you to log in with your NHS details. You answer 3 questions and usually it puts you through to the NHS login screen and you can log in. And instead it's asking you the 3 questions and then just freezing on that screen and you can't go any further. So that's a bit of a problem because, as my midwife says, that's how we communicate with you, so we need to get that issue resolved. I'm like, well, I can't resolve it because according to the Badger Notes FAQs, my midwife has to report any issues with it because they will not accept issues from the users. It has to go through the midwives. And she sort of brushed it off, which again, I felt a bit like, not too happy about that. But okay. But she brushed it off and said that I have an appointment next week with
or in a couple of weeks' time, which I do, I have an appointment on the 12th with the consultants in the antenatal clinic. And she said that the online midwives, or the people that actually deal with the Badger notes, will be there. So to mention it to them and see if they can help me with any issues or glitches. If not, then they can obviously put in a report to Badger notes to try and get that fixed. I also mentioned the coughing up phlegm issue. She said, I don't really know about that. Because you are half consultant led, half midwife led, I recommend bringing that up with your GP, because that could be a medical issue, and I'm not trained on medical issues. I'm just trained around the whole pregnancy thing. Okay, that is annoying, but fine. So I'm gonna have to bring that up with the consultant when I see them on the 12th. But that's it. It was literally, it felt so irrelevant to actually go to that checkup, because all she did was take my blood pressure, check my CO2 levels. We had a very brief chat and it was done in 20 minutes. It was 40 minutes late. Sorry, 20 minutes late, extending a bit there. It was 20 minutes late. The appointment was for 10 past 10 and I didn't get seen until like 10:30, 10:35, which was really annoying. But this is the state the NHS is in at the moment. They're overrun, they're overworked, and we have to give them a bit of grace. We have to give them a bit of grace, but it does get irritating. Yesterday, I had the day off. I had the day off from work. I asked my parents said to me on Monday when I saw them for paddle club that if I need any help to just ask them, and they're more than willing to come and help. And I feel bad because I hate inconveniencing people and I hate asking for help. I know I need to ask for help more. That is something I need to deal with. But I already know my mum and dad have a lot on their plate and I don't like to inconvenience them or burden them or like make them do something they don't want to do. And I would never force anyone to do something they don't want to do, just FYI. But knowing how much my mum and dad have got on and the fact that they are retired and not enjoying their retirement because they've got so much going on, I feel bad about asking them for help. But they offered it. And so I bit the bullet, and on Thursday I said to them, is there any chance you can come help me with the painting on Friday? They said yes, and what time would like to be there. So we arranged to meet up at 11 because I knew I would need a lie-in and I would also need time to get the girls up and everything. So we agreed to meet up at 11 at the house, and we got loads of painting done. Oh my God, I can't believe how much painting we got done that day. I am so grateful to my parents, so grateful to them for their help, that we got so much done. We got the front room, a second coat on all the front room. We got the back room, darker coat finished. We got the second coat on the light green walls in the back room. Some of the walls in my bedroom finished. We got most of the walls in the baby room finished until we ran out of paint. And we got the entire hallway painted, which was just amazing. I can't believe we got so much done. I am genuinely flabbergasted that we managed to power through that much in just, I think we were there for about 4 hours altogether. I can't believe we got through so much. I am so grateful that we just got through all that painting. I was so grateful. And that was my Friday. I came home, I got something to eat, I sorted out the girls. I was intending on going back in the afternoon to finish off a couple of the walls. And then Jason got home around about the same time I was about to leave, and he said that he just needed a rest and a chill. And I was thinking about it and thinking, actually I could also do with a rest and a chill. I'm pretty tired after all that painting. So we agreed to stay home. We had a chill night. We both played RimWorld, which is a game on Steam which we both love. We get a bit too addicted to that game. It's been out for years and we've played it for years, but there's just something about that game that's just really satisfying to play. How have you got out? Have I left your door open? I've left your door open again. Come here. You're meant to be in your cage eating breakfast. She's a sneaky one, that one. She never misses a trick. I'm sure she knows how to open those doors. That's what my Friday was. It is now Saturday. It is essentially moving weekend. We are moving this weekend. We just need to do the final bits on the house. So we're going to the house later today. We're gonna have breakfast, chill out for 5 minutes because Jason's exhausted from work. We're going to head to B&Q, get the last of the paint that we need because we've run out of the white paint, and we also potentially need a second tin for the hallway if the hallway needs a top up. I think that's all the paint we need to buy. And we also need masking tape because we ran out of masking tape yesterday. So we couldn't finish the walls in the bedroom because of lack of masking tape. So we need to go to get B&Q to get the last of the paints, or to get top ups of the paints. And then we're going back to the house and hopefully finishing the painting in the house. Once the painting is finished, we can start moving in. Jason's mum and dad are still insistent that other things need to be done, like the edges of the laminate still need putting on, all the doors and woodwork needs painting, and all the skirting boards need painting. And both me and Jason are sort of in mind frame of it doesn't need painting. There's going to be a load of furniture in front of it. You're not going to see it. It doesn't need to be perfect. We're not selling this property on. It doesn't need to be absolutely spotless. It doesn't need to be perfect. And technically speaking, if you're going to be repainting wood, you actually want to sand off the original gloss first and then repaint it, not just repaint over it. So that's a whole job in itself that we will not get done in one weekend at all. But they're insistent we need to repaint the wood, and I think they're just thinking of painting over it. And both me and Jason are just like, meh, we don't care. There's going to be furniture in front of it. It doesn't need to look pretty. It's only us in the house. We don't give a damn. Which is probably the wrong attitude, but when it's your first home and you've got a kid on the way, that's more important to you than how a house looks. Just wanted to paint it just to make it a bit more personal and make it less grey, because the grey felt kind of moody after a while and cold and wintry. So now that we've actually got a bit of colour in there, it feels a lot warmer and a bit more homely. But we are very excited to move in. We are very excited to move in. We're going to move some stuff over today, stuff that we've already packed, stuff that we've got in boxes. We're going to move that over today. Just have it sitting in the car until we finish painting, and then once we've finished painting, get it out the car and start putting it in the designated rooms. We're nearly moving home. We're nearly moving home. We are so close. So close. We're hopefully actually moving home in 2 days' time, and we've not completely packed. We still have a load of stuff we need to put away and pack and everything else, but we are so close. We are so close to moving and being out of this house. Which, don't get me wrong, I love this house in the sense that it is a family home. It was been passed down through my family for generations, and my mum has been exceedingly kind in letting us live here, but at the same time she really needs us to move out so that she can move in, or get the house fixed so she can move in, so she can renovate her own house. It's a lot of big jobs for this house, and it's the reason we couldn't take it on ourselves, because we did debate actually buying it off my mum and then doing it up ourselves, but it's something we just financially couldn't afford. And when you think, well, you could afford this, but you couldn't afford this, but you could afford to buy your own house. Yes, because in order to do up this house, we would have had to move out in order to get everything redone, to get the plastering redone, the wiring redone, get the plumbing looked at, etc, etc. At one point to get the windows redone, which my mum has done since. There was a lot to do in this house. There was a lot of odd jobs that needed doing. It was going to cost us more than a deposit on a new house, and it was getting hard enough to actually save up the money for a deposit. But we're done. We won't be in this house much longer. So exciting. So freaking exciting. Anyway, I'm going to go because I need to eat my breakfast, and then we need to get going to B&Q because we've got a busy day of painting and decorating and moving to get started today. Oh, in fact, I very nearly forgot to mention, when I woke up this morning, I was feeling a bit meh about my stomach because it basically looked bloated. It looked really, really bloated, and I was actually struggling that it was so bloated and I couldn't suck it in and suck it back, because usually when I suck my stomach in, it goes all the way back to my spine. I can really compress my stomach because I've got quite a strong core. Not as strong as it used to be since pregnancy, but I've got a pretty strong core. And this morning I tried to suck in my stomach and I couldn't at all. Baby bump is definitely showing now. At the start of this week, I don't think it was particularly obvious. I think I still looked just overweight, or I just still looked like I had a flabby tummy, and to a sense I still do, but the baby bump is definitely showing now. It is definitely protruding, and that was something it took me a minute to get my head around this morning. I know some people really struggle with the whole baby bump and gaining weight and stuff, and it's something I'm expecting, so I'm quite comfortable with it, and it's not really bothering me as much as it probably bothers other women. But I have to admit, it took my brain a minute to remember that I was pregnant and that my belly is growing this morning. So I'm gonna do a quick bump update because I don't think I've done one in a while. This is, I just realised you can't really see it over the maternity clothes, but if I'm tucking, and even if I tense my muscles a bit, that is where we're up to. I don't know how, I might have to take this down one sec. So that is where we're up to bump wise. You can see now, this is my stomach completely sucked in, by the way. Like, this is me relaxed. This is me with my stomach muscles as they normally are, so quite tense. And you can see there is definitely some bump going on now. Without a doubt, there's some bump going on. So if I relax, it is a lot more obvious. But I don't want it to be that obvious when I'm only 15 weeks, and that's not normal for me. Relaxing like this causes my back to curve in, which gets quite painful after a while, so I always try and tuck my pelvis in and tighten my muscles just a little bit, just to give me that back support that I still have a bump past my boobs, and my boobs are ginormous. Like, I know I have big boobs, but the fact that the bump is now past the boobs is just, yeah. Little one's getting big. So yeah, that is where we're up to. Also, quick update on the whole Lunetta jumpsuits. I am still wearing them. I've not wore the Mamma Mia bras yet, or mini Mama bras, because they do need adjusting. I do need to shorten them, or shorten the bits around the middle, or around the chest band, waistband, because they are just far too loose. Like, far too loose. Anytime I try and put them on, they just ride up my back, and the next thing you know, the back is like halfway up my shoulders, which is just, doesn't help anyone. So I'm going to adjust those before I start wearing them. But the Lunetta jumpsuits, do you know what? I can't fault them. They've been very handy. They've been very comfortable. They've been very easy to wear. I'm still not keen on the bunching by the crotch, but the jumpsuits themselves are actually really super comfy, really super flexible. The material is dead soft. I've wore this one 5 times now. Anytime I'm not in work, I am wearing one of these jumpsuits, and they have been very comfy. Very comfy, and saved me a fortune in maternity wear. Literally saved me a fortune in maternity wear so far. But we will keep going, because for all I know, these might break after 6 months. I don't know, because they are a bit, like, the good quality. They have been stitched well, I'll give them that. But they are quite flimsy, which can be a bit of a problem for us bigger ladies. But we'll see. So far, they've held out really well. The stitching has stayed immaculate in them. Like, the stitching is literally immaculate in them so far. But we'll see. We'll see how they get on.
Right, I didn't video anywhere near as much as I wanted to. I ended up just getting stuck in and completely distracted and completely forgot to video. But the house is almost finished. All the painting is done now, thanks to my mum and dad, and obviously me and Jason have done quite a bit of painting. I think Jason's mum and dad has done a bit of painting. Jason's dad has been busy doing the quadrants for the laminates that we put down, or that they put down. They've done the laminate for us. We started putting the curtains back up and trimming them. We found quite a few of the curtains had quite a bit of mould, so we've just decided to bin those. We're just going to buy some new ones. But we're nearly done. We are very nearly done. And we are still on track to move on Monday, which is very exciting. But we need to go now because Jason's mum has actually organised a birthday meal thing for us, with it being my birthday tomorrow. So we are going to go and see some of the family now. Oh, what a busy day.